Welcome back to Out of Left Field. I'm Abby Alonzo. You can see where I'm at, this beautiful Tennessee softball stadium with none other than Karlyn Pickens. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Clearly.
Me too.
It's a little bit hotter than I expected it to be, but I
know, I didn't dress for this.
I know. You walked up with the sweatshirt. I was like, oh, girl, we might have to take the jacket off.
It's October. It's supposed to be fall.
Oh, yeah, I know. What weather? Anyway, this is beautiful. When I walked in, I was stunned. I'm from New Orleans, went to LSU, so
Awesome.
we have some nice things over there, too. But, I mean, it is stunning in Knoxville. This whole campus is gorgeous. And
nothing beats
breathtaking.
SPL.
Yeah. All right. I want to dive into your story. Shane told me you were just incredible, so that made me even more excited to talk to you
Great.
today.
Thanks, Shane.
But I like to start at the beginning because I think it's important to understand, like, why did you get into this game?
Yep.
You know, that's gotten you to where you are today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm from Weaverville, North Carolina, very small town outside of Asheville, if you've ever been in that area. Yep. Grew up, both my parents loved playing sports. I had two older brothers. Me and one of my brothers are more close in age, so I was always outside with him competing, you know, t-ball, started when I was 4 years old, played on the same team as him. And so literally ever since I was 4 years old, I always just loved being outside. I played all sports really, you know, softball, got into basketball, and then volleyball as well. Mom played volleyball, so it's been a lot of sports in my childhood, and I knew that that's kind of what I wanted to do, so it's been really fun.
How'd you decide, you know, all right, it's softball? Because eventually you have to pick at some point, right? What was that deciding factor?
You know, I loved all of them so much, and I think softball was kind of the one that was just, I don't know, I had such a just fun time playing. You know, it was my first sport I ever played with t-ball. Then we got into travel softball, which is its own just crazy thing. Like travel softball, you know, you got the cheers, you got all the bows. I literally probably have a box of bows in our attic right now of like, it's a crazy collection. I'm going to stop you because I feel like that is very common within girls that played softball. Like I have the same thing. The ribbons and bows, like there's a huge box in the attic. Don't know why I still have them, but. All the tournament t-shirts, literally everything.
All of it.
So I think like just all of that, those fun memories, you know, playing with the girls, the little cheers, like those are things that like, I just love so much about the sport, and then I just continue to love it so much because of those fun memories. And then even just like the relationship with my dad, you know, going outside, you know, him catching me on the bucket whenever he just got off work at 8 o'clock, and it's just, those things are just like so awesome to look back on.
It's a grind for the parents too.
Absolutely.
My dad tells me, I pitched for a little while and I was like, this is, no offense, I was like, I'd rather play infield, and my dad was like, I still have shin like divots in my bone from sitting on the bucket trying to catch you.
My dad's wedding band was like formed to his finger, like flattened on the side. He just recently got it off, and now he like wears it around his neck. So,
oh my gosh,
that's
crazy. When you look back at how you got into pitching, like what was that draw?
Yeah, that's honestly, I kind of just was that player that just wanted to do it all. Like when I was really young, I caught, I played shortstop, I played outfield, like literally everything. I was up for it. So once I got to around the age of 10, I would say, is when 9, sorry, I started taking pitching lessons. And that's when I, you know, met Stacy, my pitching coach when I was younger. And since then, we just kept the ball rolling.
And you were pretty good at it, so you're like, I think I'm gonna stick with this.
I had a little knack. I threw super hard at a very young age.
Clearly,
Didn't know where it was going majority of the time, but we've worked on that since then.
And look how it's panned out.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward a little bit. You had an incredible high school career. When you're choosing, you know, where do I want to play at the next level? How did you land on Tennessee?
Yeah, so the recruiting process for me, going back to those years, it was a little different because it was, you know, right in the middle of COVID. So and there was also that rule change. So it used to be, you know, 7th, 8th graders could commit. Like you didn't even have to be a junior in high school. Like you could commit super young. So, you know, there's a lot of girls around me that were deciding already. I knew that for me, I just wasn't mature enough to make that decision. I wanted to wait and, you know, feel it out before I really, you know, put all my eggs in one basket. So when September 1st of junior year came around, I had my whole day lined up of calls, and it was super exciting time. I'm obviously, you know, still just a junior in high school, but very, very exciting. And then when Tennessee called, it just was like God just tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is the place. Like it was literally just like, I just had like a gut feeling. And it's stuck true to that. So
that's a real thing. It's interesting that you say that you don't feel you were mature enough to make that decision, but I think it's quite mature to know that, to know like, hey, I'm young, this is a big choice to make. I'm going to wait a little bit, because I feel like, you know, the culture of travel ball and recruiting just continues to get faster and faster. They're younger and younger. You're asking these young kids to make this life-changing decision. And for you to have that maturity actually to be like, I'm actually going to take my time with this one, I think is a note that a lot of people should take from you.
For sure. And I give a lot of credit to my parents too, because they always, their thing was like, this is your journey, like we're here to help guide you and support you. But they were the ones that were like, hey, like giving me those helpful reminders and not forcing me in anything, but just like being there to help me through the journey.
Which is so valuable, because again, you hear it from everybody's trying to get you to their school. So of course they're putting on a little pressure, maybe enticing you with all of the things that sound great when you're so young. But to have your parents in your corner really kind of ground you and say, hey, like, take your time.
For sure.
That's awesome. Talk to me a little bit about your support system, your mom, your dad, who else is in there? Like, what role do they play in your career?
Yeah, so just like I said, like my parents have always just been so supportive of me, just even through travel ball, high school, always, you know, keeping the thing like, this is my journey, it's my decisions, like they're here to support me, but they're never going to put any excess pressure or anything like that on me, because there's already enough of that, just like you said, in travel ball, social media, all of that. So I'm super thankful for them because of how they've been just so supportive, and they've never like put any more pressure on me. So like even after games, like we don't talk about softball. Like once the game's over, when I'm in the car, where are we eating? Like we get Mexican, whatever it is. So that's super valuable, and I think that's a thing for, you know, parents like in travel ball, like, hey, like realize that this is supposed to be fun for the kids, and you know, don't put that extra pressure on them. So
that's huge. Having those boundaries of like, you know, when you're at practice, when you're playing a game, like you're locked in, but you have that safe space after to go be a human being without the pressures from your parents or your support system as well. It goes a long way.
For sure.
You kind of blew over social media a little bit. I want to kind of reel it back to that point. We're watching media change, and NIL and social media is a big factor in that. What have you found beneficial into your career or your personal brand through social media, or even stuff like this, like sitting down with me on a random, what's today, Thursday, and chatting for a little bit? For
sure. Well, I think it would be crazy to say that social media is not beneficial. Like obviously, you know, with the new NIL and everything like that, like it is what you make it. And I think if you have your priorities in line, and like you treat social media for what it is, like, you know, you can't take everything you see online and make that the base of everything you see, but you know, taking advantage of it. But also I want to portray my image correctly. Like I want to, you know, inspire young girls and, you know, be true to who I am, and do that through my platform. And then also just like on the, you know, kind of negative side of like, you know, you have so many opinions being thrown at you all the time. Like Karen, our coach, she always like tells us, you know, never look on social media after a game, don't put any value to these things or that. And I think that's super important, you know, just to, you know, use social media for the good that it is, but then don't put too much value on it to where you're taking in so much information that you're just overwhelming yourself with everything.
I think that's a very important message for this next generation who's growing up with more social media than we even had, where you're constantly looking at other people and what they're doing. You're listening to other people and their opinions, to remember that that is not the end all be all. You are much more than what is said on social media, what is posted on social media. And for athletes specifically, I think that is something to really, really remember as you go through your career.
For sure.
So that was a great little nugget of information for any young softball players or any athlete in general watching this. Take it with a grain of salt, man. When you think about your why, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. You love the sport, and you just kind of said that you want to impact and inspire the next generation. Is that your why? What's your why?
Yeah, I would say kind of you really nailed it. Like I think, you know, when I get to give back and go to these camps and, you know, see all the little girls lined up after the games, like that's really just, I could have the worst game of my life, and then you walk outside and you see them all just so excited to see you. Like that's what keeps me motivated. Like you wake up and know that they don't even care how you play, but they're just so excited to see you play. And if I can have a positive impact in their life and inspire them to go chase crazy dreams and win World Series, then that's what it's about.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
I do want to switch a little bit to the X's and O's and the numbers, man. We got to talk about the numbers, obviously. Your accolade list is insane, okay? Freshman Pitcher of the Year, two-time SEC Pitcher of the Year. You've got, Softball America Pitcher of the Year? I could continue on with this list.
He's the one to know.
I know. Oh, we were talking about it earlier, don't you worry. But what I want to focus on is that record you broke, that Velo record, 79.4.
Yes.
Am I correct? And it was your own record that you broke.
Right, yeah.
What? I remember watching that and the news breaking, and I was like, holy, this is incredible. Like, this is huge for the sport.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome for her.
Thank you.
What did that feel like first?
It was awesome. I mean, it was always kind of just like, I threw hard. Like, that was like my thing. Like, growing up, like, that was just, I loved being able to throw hard. And, you know, it was always kind of in the back of my mind, like, is this something that's attainable? And then, you know, throughout my years of college, I'm like, okay, like, it's kind of getting in arm's length, you know? And so once we broke the record the first time, got the 78, I was like, okay, we did it, like, great. And then next week, it's like, did it again, like, it was just such a crazy experience, like just being able to accomplish that, and then, you know, go back, and my team is so excited for me. Like, every game they'd be like, you're hitting 78 today, you're hitting 79 today.
They're
like,
more excited than you are.
Yeah, like, I'm like, guys, let me focus right here. So I remember after the game when I hit it, the 78.2 the first time, they announced it on the intercom, like literally right on that field. And I couldn't even understand what they were saying. Megan comes running out of the dugout after the game and is like, listen. And I'm like, because I had no idea.
Right, you're lost.
And I'm like, what are you running at me for? Like, what? And then I'm like trying to listen, and then everyone's cheering, and then the whole stands stand up and start clapping. So like, it was just such an amazing, like everyone was just so excited for me.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. And I think what's notable there is that wasn't necessarily your goal of like,
No.
This is my end-all be-all, I need to break the Velo record, right? But your work ethic got you there. That's the result of your work.
Right.
So talk to me about that work ethic. You know, what do you do when you know you throw fast as a kid, but you're kind of all over the place?
Yeah.
What things did you do to gain that control and to put you where you're at?
Yeah, well, I will say, like, working with Megan, like, in our bullpens when we'd work, it never was like, oh, this is what we're going to do to help you break the record. Like, we both knew, like,
it was a possibility.
Yeah, like, it's a possibility, but our mind was on like important things, like don't walk the first batter, being able to command our pitches, having good mechanics. And I think, you know, working towards good mechanics like Megan teaches, that's what set me up to be able to hit that number. So it wasn't necessarily, there are speed drills and, you know, things you can do to strengthen. Dan, our strength coach, like in the weight room with him, but I think really just, you know, going back to the basics, having good mechanics and doing all of that is what gave me the ability to reach that goal.
If a young pitcher is watching this right now and maybe has that speed but maybe struggles with control, are there any drills or specific things that you would say, hey, try this?
Yeah, I would say, like, when I was younger and I had the speed thing but lacked the control, my pitching coach was always like, just always focus on mechanics. Get the mechanics down first, and then you can grow from there. So doing drills, making sure that, you know, your glove hand's not flying out, your body's not being wonky. I'm tall, so like it can be a struggle to stay, you know, I'm in pitching terms now, but like
no, that's good. We want that. We want that to be normal to talk about.
Yeah, so it can be, you know, challenging when you are tall to stay like level and we kind of stay tall in pitching.
Yes.
So, you know, not letting that glove hand fly out and everything. And I think when you nail those things and you're prioritizing the mechanics and having those for your foundation, then it's easier to build with the speed and the spin and the things that come along with that.
Point blank. Yeah. I know you said it's really a team mentality and you're not really worried about the records or things like that, but do you have any personal goals for yourself? You're going into your senior season.
Yeah, obviously I think the main one is that World Series
National
Championship. I mean, it's our last chance right here, so I think that's really the only thing that's on the forefront of my mind, and you know, everything that comes along with that. I don't put a whole lot of value in like individual success. I mean, obviously it's something you think about and, you know, it's awesome, but you know, what I care about most in, you know, 30 years, we gotta get that ring. Like, come on. So that's what I'm thinking about.
What do you think your role on the team is? When you are you loud and vocal? Are you a little bit more quiet, leader? What do you think your role is?
Yeah, I would say in my senior year, definitely taking on more of that leadership role has been different for me because I've never really been, the most loudest. Like I'm not gonna, yell at my teammate, get on you. Like that's hard for me to do. I think what I've done throughout the years here is just really being a consistent teammate. Like I'm there when you need me. I'm gonna tell it to you straight, but also just like, if you're having a rough day, like I'm also gonna be there for you. I'm not gonna make you feel like how you perform on the field is all we care about. Like, so I think having that and a balance of that competitiveness is important.
Consistent teammate. I really like that. That is awesome. That was my favorite answer I think you've given. You are doing something pretty cool coming up, Team USA, and you're playing with Aubrey Leach, who I just got to talk to.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that is their director of player development, who she will be teammates with for Team USA in December in Australia.
Yes.
Is it December? Yes. What is that dynamic like? Like, you're going to be playing with your coach, kind of?
Yeah, it's awesome. Aubrey is just, she has so much knowledge of the game. Like, she's so helpful. Girls will, her sisters play too. So it's like, you got all the Leach girls. But yeah, Aubrey, she's awesome. Like, she works so hard. She's, here every day helping us get better, and just her mind and like what she's learned from the game through AUSL. She's on like 6 different boards. Like she's that girl. So I'm super excited to get to play with her. She's just a baller.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like I said, we just got to talk to her, and hearing how she's on the player exec board for AUSL, and she's so eloquent in how she explains what AUSL is and why softball is important. I've loved talking to her. What do you think you're most excited for about the Team USA endeavor, though?
Yeah, I would say, I think back to like in kindergarten when they like have you write down your like, what's your career aspirations? I'm drawing a picture of me in a USA softball uniform. So it's like, it's being able to, represent my country, put on that uniform that's been like, seems unattainable when you're that age. And now it's something that, it really just like, wow, like you get to look back and it's such a full circle moment, really. Yeah.
When you were younger, was that something that you actually did aspire to do, knowing that, professional softball is not where it should be? It's on its way, but we don't have the same representation that, a lot of the other sports do.
Right.
When you were so young, were you really like, was that what you wanted to do with your life?
Yeah, I think when I look back at that age, I remember like Ginny Finch. When you think of her, you think the USA uniform and the shorts, the old school shorts. So like seeing that, I think is what I was like, oh, like I want to do that. So I think also like when I decided that I wanted to play in college and like started taking it more seriously, like then you really kind of figure out like, okay, here's what the options are. So I think that was the main goal in the end of it.
And you're coming to the end of your college career right at the time where MLB is investing into the AUSL.
Good timing.
It's great timing.
It really is.
So it paid off.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this up, but my other favorite question to ask is, if there's a young girl watching this, what message would you want her to take from this time of talking to me?
Yeah, I would say, and this was kind of something that I've had to learn, like just for my years being here, is don't try and like keep yourself in this like little box of like, when it comes to me, like my freshman year, if you look back, like I barely celebrated. Like in my mind, I'm competing and I'm like got this fire in me, but like you would never see it. Like I would not do anything except for maybe like a fist pump. But like I've learned that when you bring that excitement to the game and you show the energy and you cheer on your teammates and you're celebrating with your team, like that's when you like get to be and like play like your most true self, I think, and it makes it way more fun. Like you're not putting all this extra pressure on you. So don't try and fit yourself in a little box. Be you, celebrate everything, scream, yell, like all that.
That's funny because I feel like a lot of times you're told not to do that, to stay locked in, to stay competitive, and it's okay to be having fun while you're competing.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Play with joy.
Mic drop right there. Karlyn Pickens, thank you so much.
Thank
this
you
was
for having
so great. Out of left field.